So my mum said she found my videos confusing, so I'm doing a little intro. This is the day after I've caught this swarm of bees, and I'm kind of checking in on how they're settling in and letting them out, and you know all that entails. You'll see. It's 2026, Mum. Hello, hello. Okay, so they're less anxious today. They're less like skittery to get out, but they're still pretty keen. You can sort of see them in the entrance there. I think this is the same one from yesterday, so that's pretty good. All right, guys. Okay, I'm gonna do this quickly so no one has a chance to get their head stuck in the exit. Okay, they're very silly. And we're still gonna go only to Queen Excluder mode. Oh, look at these bees. They're very, look at them, they're so beautiful. Okay, good luck, guys. I believe in you. Okay, so I think we're doing good. I had a minor disaster where I was worried because I opened the lid, I opened the entrance and not many came out, and I heard this horror story about basically they on a hot day like this they kind of introduced a new beehive and basically they all just died in the heat. So I had this horror story about this, so I peeked the entrance, I lifted the lid, and it was a roar and loads came out. So but I think I'm seeing good things. They're fanning, which could either be because they're hot or because they're saying this is home. And they're kind of doing these little, you can see them kind of orbiting the entrances to kind of get a good view of it. And that's like, you know, they're memorizing where they're staying. You know, this was a balance of risk, basically, because ideally I'd leave them in there for a couple of days because they should be fine. But on hot days like this, like I don't want to risk it. I don't want them to cook to death in there. I'd be so sad. So they might all just fly away. But I'm hoping that they don't, basically. Look at them. Oh, bless. Oh, they're so cute. Okay, now I'm slightly more worried. I'm worried that this is swarming behaviour and that they haven't moved in. I'm going to ask Bee Club. Hello, Bee Club. I caught this swarm yesterday. I'd have liked to leave them in there for longer, but it's very hot, so I've kind of let them out a bit. What I'm checking is this swarming behavior? Do I have to close them back up, basically? Or is this like, it's too hot behavior, or this is the entrance behavior, you know, we're fanning to say this is our new home behavior? Just thought I'd ask. So I've come back. This is the evening now. This is after 5 o'clock. This thing's in shade. But I decided to give it a hat for tomorrow. A cardboard hat. Something's happening. Something's definitely going on. They're just kind of flying everywhere. I don't know if you can tell in the video. I don't know what their deal is with this hive. These bees seem interested in this hive. They might be taking it over. They might be leaving there to move in there. They might just be robbing it. It's not the end of the world with that, because these guys are going to... my plan is to merge the two anyway. It's just a bit... They're just kind of everywhere, you know. It's a bit worrying. I do think I'm going to turn these guys back to Queen Excluder mode, so that they can't run away. Because I'd rather they live in this hive than move. Okay, so I'm staying up here just to keep an eye on things. The only thing I want to keep an eye on is if I think there are a couple of clumps of bees on the hive over there, and if one of those had the queen in, which I didn't see, but you know I'm not very reliable in this way. Hello. Then they'll start swarming and they might leave, and so I want to kind of keep an eye on that. Yes, hello. If she is already out, you know, they might just move into that hive over there, which wouldn't be the end of the world because they've not got a queen. They'll probably grumble about it at first, but actually I think that the existing bees will just kind of get adopted by the new colony, because the queens won't. You know, normally the queens would fight and only one would survive, but since there's only one queen, that would be fine. And then I think, you know, there might be a little kind of bit of scuffling, but I don't think they'll do a big war. I just need to... It's interesting that they're so interested in that hive, and then they don't really care about this one here. This one's just unmolested. Maybe it's stronger. But I'm just staying up here. I'm going to keep an eye on things. I think it's telling, I assume these are the same bees, that they are foraging as well. I think if they were looking for a new home, they would be looking for a new home. And instead, they're looking for food. But I don't know much about what bees do when they're not being in their hive. See, there's like a cluster of them there. Like, what are they up to? Suspicious. Some of the cluster down there. Suspicious. They're very friendly right now, though. I'm not wearing my suit, and they're not bombing me. One just landed on my phone and was just like, "Oh, hello, I'm here." You know, they're not. I don't feel harassed. They just kind of seem interested in me, and when I get a bit close, you know, I went and got a rubber glove to turn that entrance. But I didn't. You know, I didn't feel necessarily that I needed it. I was just being a bit nervous. Yes, hello everyone, hello. So I've been thinking, I've been up here for a few hours, just watching them and thinking. So what I think's happened is I think these guys want to go. I don't think they like it in that home. And I think they want to move in here. So I think I'm going to let them, basically. So because I've had to switch this thing to not be on Queen Excluder mode, because a couple of dead bees did block up the entrance, and that's too risky. Oh, they're a bit leery with me. Yeah, a couple of dead bees did block up the entrance, and it's too risky to kind of let that stand in this heat. So I have to just open the door wide and, you know, let them decide what's best for them. I think that's what's best. I've got a fellow beekeeper who's going to come up and look at things. Look, they really want to do something there. Hello, a bee has just landed on my phone. It's trying to fight it. Are you trying to sting my phone, you little idiot? But yeah, I think it's just best to, like, you know, let the bees do what they want to do. That's my idea. Well, it's been an exciting and strange evening, which I've basically not been involved with at all. I've basically had to just like leave them to it. And I've just been out here. You know, I've been stressing about these bees, but they've not been bothered by me at all. and they've just kind of been doing their own thing. And I was kind of hoping to wait until there was some kind of like resolution to this arc. But I don't think there's going to be one tonight, and I've got to go home and have dinner. So I'm going to go do that and just see what these guys have decided to do in the morning, I guess, because it's nearly sunset. So they're going to want to go to bed as well. Anyway, what an interesting time we've had together, me and these bees.